Welcome to In the Mix Africa, coming to you live from Slanghoek, Cape Town. You know we're all about the legit, the pure African experience. And of course, we talk sports. I'm going to be going up just now to talk to Brian about everything. Champions League final is happening. Whether your team was eliminated or not, it's going to be happening. Brian and I are going to break it down. We're going to talk about the top player in Botswana, the Namibian League. And we're just going to make sure we keep everything flowing in the mix. Don't forget, JSB Sports Betting as well is on the show. And of course, Short Corner with Rorisang Bohojwe. Welcome to the show. All right, so as promised, I'm with Brian. You know, I don't like to travel alone. My brother and I, we are here at the Cape, and we're going to be giving our Premier League, Debmarine Premier League predictions. Brian, 6 games left, okay. And you have your team, I have my team. You haven't told me your team. First time I'm going to get to know that. Yeah. Who's your pick to lift the cup this year?
Up against us.
Again.
Up against us again.
That's where you are.
Yes, that's where I am. Yeah, tell me about yours before we get into detail. I want to know who you think is coming. Who do you think? You said upset.
It's time. It's time. It's time for Ongos
to lift this trophy.
It's time. They've done everything right. They've ticked every box. They were supposed to kind of look like the private school kids. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's not the case at all. They're competing administratively. They've got it on point. Yes. And that's a big part. Think about all the guests that we've had on In the Mix Africa. Everyone has been talking. We had Ronnie Candelelo just the other week. Yeah. Everyone was talking about how important the administration is, how important the foundation is, how much that just supplies so much more to the player getting into the season. Yeah. And so because of that, I think Ongos, especially because last year they were also dancing, you know what I mean? Dancing close to it. Unless Ongos is like the team that I'm wearing right now, there's a chance they might do it this year.
Look, the competition definitely has been better this year. I can say FC Ongos, Komas Nampo finished very close last year. The gap is tighter. I don't think there's a huge gap between first, second, third, and fourth. So I think teams did come through this year. They did make the statements that they are here to compete and not just participate and give away points. Yes, but African stars with a new striker, Bakonja.
This is what I was going to say. So, best player for best player, African stars for you is.
Is that even a question? That's not even a question.
Yes, Bakonja.
Bakonja has to be my player of the season. Yeah. I mean, look, last season, the guy who was scoring the goals for African stars, Awilo Stefanes, goals and assists, he was cooking left and right. So they did depend on him a lot. Yeah. And then this season we thought the same, but the weight has been taken off Willie Stefanes' shoulders. He hasn't been involved that much with the goals, but he has been assisting. But the goals has been coming from Bakonja. The young man has been scoring the goals, and I'm also making an argument to say that for the COSAFA team, yes, the training squad that has been announced, I'm sure it's in the team. But if that guy doesn't play in the national team at the COSAFA here in SA. I won't be happy.
Brian won't be happy, but you know, someone Brian is going to be very happy about is the player of the season in the Botswana FNB Premier League, and we're going to be talking about that just now. After, of course, some JSB Sports Betting. Brian, you and Jevon sat down, did what had to be done. Huge predictions. Huge predictions.
Big ones.
Check it out.
Well, viewers, and just like that, Brian Munango and Jevon Wilson are back with you. You guys are probably wondering, without the Premier League, without La Liga, without Serie A, where are these guys going to get content from? Where are we going to get the betting tips from? People still want to bet. And football doesn't stop with just those leagues, Jevon, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we have exciting football coming up during the off-season. For the first time ever, we have an extended FIFA Club World Cup. We will have some African teams participating in that one, particularly a Southern African team, which is the mighty Mamelodi Sundowns that we just saw lift the title again in the Premiership. So we have that in the month of June, up until July. And when that ends, we have
UEFA Nations.
The UEFA Women's Euros.
Also.
Yes, they used to say the female, the future is female. Female future, it's now. So we saw that with the FA Cup final with the women's. It was a sold-out event for the very first time there. So we're excited for the UEFA Euro Women's competition, and we're going to have exciting promotions for that and great betting tips.
Well, one thing that I should also mention, with the FIFA Club World Cup, South Africa's Mamelodi Sundowns will be receiving $178 million just for participating. So that competition is said to be a very nice one. I'm very excited for that competition. I think one of the biggest games in the group stages is Mamelodi Sundowns play Borussia Dortmund.
Yeah, I'm also looking forward to that one.
That's a mouth-watering game, so we are all very excited for that. And then, Jeff, before we do leave, the big match is upcoming. The mega giveaway is on the go. I really want to know who walks away with the 250,000 with JSB mega giveaway. But then, Jevon, the big match is set to come up this weekend. We'll have a look at the odds just now, and then you tell me who's walking away with this one. You've been screaming Inter Milan the whole season, the dark horses of the tournament. Here they've proven you right. They are in the final, and they are facing a Paris Saint-Germain side that has never, ever won the UEFA Champions League. But we've seen a lot of teams that haven't won in a long time this season come out and win trophies. So what are you saying with this one?
Look, as you mentioned there, I've been backing the boys, the blue and the black, for the entire campaign. It'll be an injustice of me not to go with them. So Forza Inter. Interesting enough, if you look at that on your screen, Inter Milan have the higher odds. So they are the outsiders, 3.2. But if you look at that green, the green represents the total stakes currently placed on that particular bet. So more people have gone for Inter to win than the favorites PSG. Can you look at it? You see that?
I see. I don't know why, but okay, cool. So what's your prediction for that game then?
Inter Milan will lift that trophy. Lautaro Martinez definitely will score, and then he will go on to be a candidate to win the Ballon d'Or.
This guy in the Ballon d'Or chats. Okay, I'm going to go PSG. I think if PSG can win this trophy, then Lautaro Martinez doesn't win the Ballon d'Or, and rather, do you know who I think is going to win it if PSG win this thing?
I hope you don't say Dembele.
Ousmane Dembele. I'm saying it with my chest. If PSG lift the trophy, this guy deserves that award because he's been great for PSG. I haven't seen him in such good form in a very long time, so consistently. He's always disrupted by injuries, but with this season we saw he could carry his own, and he did come through for PSG. So I'm going to say PSG to win this game, and most probably maybe both teams to score. That will bump up your odds to maybe like a good 3 or 4. Put down $500 and you can walk away with a whooping $2,000. Yeah. So what do you think there? Give me a score prediction before we leave.
It's going to be a tough game. Both sides are very good at attacking. I think PSG a little bit more vulnerable at the back with the wing backs always going forward with Ashraf Hakimi and Mendy.
Yeah.
So but I do feel they can score. 2-1 to the Inter.
2-1 to the Inter. Okay, I'm going to say vice versa. I'm saying 2-0. PSG. PSG get the win. Dembele scores, and Desiree Doué maybe also gets one for them. But yeah, I comfortably see PSG walking away with this one. Well, we've locked in our predictions. It's time for you to lock in yours, and we'll have this discussion next week, same time, same place. But from us, it is goodbye.
So Namibians are shining all over Africa, you know what I mean? And this guy is getting it done. Brian, please announce the Botswana FNB Premier League player of the season is
Moses Shidolo.
Wow. Yo.
What a player, bro.
What a player.
What a player.
Tried, tested, proven.
Approved. And you know, I think this is his first season playing for Botswana, playing in Botswana for Matebele FC.
Let's get back into his history a little bit. Where was he before this?
This guy came through the ranks from Ongos. So when, not Ongos, but Eshoke Chula Chula.
All right.
So when Eshoke Chula Chula made their debut in the Premier League,
you
know, when the hype was all around Eshoke Chula Chula.
Yes.
So he was playing in midfield, wore the number 4, and then slowly but surely, that's when everyone started knowing more about Chidolo because he was cooking in the Debmarine Premiership. You know, cooking in the Premiership, had a wonderful season. AFCON. Played well, a solid midfielder. Very, I think it's how I feel personally based on how I've seen him play. I'd say he's a box-to-box player.
All right,
he can go, get the ball, and give it to the attackers or score himself. So, all-round midfielder. We saw him coming up through the ranks with the Shoke Chula Chula. Colin Benjamin also liked him very much. Got him into the national team, and then after that. People started showing interest, you know. Then Botswana, Matebele, don't waste time. They went straight and told them we want you in our team. He went to Botswana for the first, I think in the first 2-3 games, he won man of the match players back to back
already for
the team. So that Matebele knew, okay, cool, we got the player that we paid for and that we needed. And after that, Ashwyn, I can tell you, this guy he deserves the award. He's been cooking in Botswana. The things that he does, the creativity, the defense, combining defense and attack, being that middleman, brilliant, simply brilliant.
And then, I mean, I hate to be that guy, but doesn't it then make you a little sad that we're seeing these elite performances from Namibia and we won't be able to see them at AFCON this year?
Yeah, I think it's a big blow.
What stage would you say Namibian national football is at right now? Are we at the rebuilding stage?
Not yet.
We're not yet rebuilding.
Not yet.
So what are we doing? We're building on top of what we have.
Now we're just going with what we have. I think we're going with the flow and going and seeing how things get. Because look, it's not like we have a stadium yet. It's not like those things are in processes. It's not like they started building it. So we're still going to have to wait a couple of years for that to start. We're still going to wait a couple of years to host matches. We're still going to have to play our away games or at our home games here in South Africa.
Now, do you think people like Moses will still be potent at that time?
He's a young lad. I think he's in his early 20s. I think he's 25, 26 maybe. So I think not like how I would want it to be. So I don't think we'll be as potent, but I'm sure the young guys, the young lads will come up in the ranks with the newspaper cups that we always host, the under-21 Ned Bankbentuk soccer tournament. So I think the boys will still come up in the ranks. We have a lot of young stars who are doing good at a very young stage. So I think we'll still be relevant, but for now,
we got to live in the moment. And as we're living in the moment, the best player in the Botswana Premier League is Namibia. And we'll take it. However, here is Rorisang Mohojwe, who is coming through with short corner content, also from Botswana. Dumela.
That is correct, Ashwyn. 2,000 kilometers, 100 days, 8 towns, and 1 course. That is the first ever high endurance expedition that is being taken by a social entrepreneur by the name of Tsofatso Tlholo, who is set to embark on a 100-day, 2,000 kilometer sponsored walk under the banner Creatives Are Diamonds in the Dirt. Now she wants to raise awareness on the plight, on the struggles, on the challenges of the creative sector in Botswana. This initiative is going to kick off on the 1st 1st of June in a small town, in a small village called Tamara, where it will also end. However, it will go through Gaborone, Mahalape, Francistown, Maung, Khanzi, Jwaneng, Kanye, and Moshopa. And according to the organizers, the sponsored walk is not only just a physical challenge, but it is also a national campaign to raise funds for awareness, public awareness of Botswana's creative sector, particularly for out of school and unemployed youth with artistic potential. This proposed one of the things that is also going to come out of it is a youth creative sector, and this proposed youth creative sector will provide a dedicated space for visual arts, for fashion, for digital media, as well as other creative disciplines. And the person who is behind this is a founder, a social entrepreneur of an organization called Botswana, which is a social enterprise founded by her to harness creativity and innovation in order to address social issues that are faced by unemployed youth in the country with artistic proposals. So that is an initiative that we are all applauding and that we will be supporting in order to highlight the plight of the creative sector in the country.
All right, it's time for full time. Remember, we're right here at Slanghoek Mountain Resort. It is beautiful. There's smoke coming down the mountain.
There's a waterfall there.
There's a waterfall.
I don't know if you
over
guys
there.
can see it, but
I mean, it is gorgeous over here. It's stunning over here. Something else that is stunning is we're enjoying the sunrise, but there's a team called Sundowns, and they are making Africa proud. Talk to us about it, Brian.
Look, Ashwyn, I think Sundowns is a team that is busy redefining football in South Africa. They're a team that's very competitive. Look, the team does have money. Let's not get it wrong. But if you look at this season, the top 3 teams that have made money this year, Kaizer Chiefs have won the Nedbank Cup.
Yes.
So the Nedbank Cup's prize money is $7 million.
Yes.
So they walk away with $7 million.
Yes.
And I think if you finish in the Debmarine Premiership in the top 3 or top 4, you do get some cash, you know?
Yes.
So
when you say dollars, say Namibian dollars.
Yes. Let's say Namibian dollars. Okay, cool. So Sundowns won the league.
Yeah.
So I think that gets you like maybe 8, 9 million,
All right.
10. It's close to there. That's what you get for winning that. But
However,
the gap between Sundowns and Kaizer Chiefs on what they've made this year, you won't can guess it.
I mean, because we're talking about qualifying for the Club World Cup.
For the FIFA Club World Cup.
And you said that's how much?
Participation fees is close to $160 million just to participate in the competition.
Peter Shalulile, we know where you live. When you come back, holler at your brothers over here. We are here for you.
Even just
Moral
lunch.
support. Even just lunch.
Kapana, anything.
But I'm not saying you're not going to, we're not saying you get 170 million.
It's
but
not
we know
yours.
you're going to get some.
They're definitely getting a
But
bonus
that's
from that.
amazing. And it's awesome that a Namibian player is going to be part of such a historic, it's going to become a historic tournament. If it's not a historic tournament legacy-wise, it's at least a historic moment.
Yes, and I think this might squash the debate that you and I have been having this whole year.
Yes,
and I'm okay to admit that.
If he scores.
Against Dortmund at least, because I know Sundowns have a game against Dortmund.
They do have a game against Dortmund,
yes.
for sure.
So if he gets to play in that tournament, then we can argue and say Colin Benjamin might not just be the greatest player of all time, which he already doesn't feel like he is.
This is our,
but yeah,
much respect to Colin Benjamin. No, don't get me wrong. But for me, I just feel like Peter Shalulile is an elite level who just sometimes the circumstances haven't been in his favor.
Yeah.
But honestly, you know how I feel about him, and I'm not saying skill level. I'm just talking about like career trajectory wise.
Okay.
Like Ozil, you can see the brilliance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there's like a certain thing that's not working out properly with where he is and whatnot. Of course, Arsenal are grateful for him. But our debate has been about the goal of Namibian football. That's very fine. But let's move into another debate, which is essential. Who was your English Premier League African player of the season? You can't name Salah. Exactly.
Now.
So I did that.
Oh, Ashwyn. Okay, cool. Let me just scan through and see. I'm gonna go with who I think should win the goal of the season. Oh, Mama Mush.
Okay.
Omar Mamouche.
I should have said no Egypt. Because Mamouche played very well. He was a bit of an obvious...
Scored wonderful goals.
Wonderful, incredible goals.
So let's hear what yours is. You can't say Saka because I know Saka is from Africa.
Bukayo Ayoyinka Saka. His passport is British.
Okay,
it's fine.
cool.
Let's
go.
It's fine. Okay, so I can't give you player of the season.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm gonna need to make a compromise.
Okay.
For me, I'm giving you the rising star
of the season.
Rising African star
of the
season. Mamouche is playing with who's his coach?
Pep Guardiola.
How many trophies has he won? Okay, it's cool.
A lot.
Kevin De Bruyne was there at the season.
Kevin De Bruyne was there.
Okay, Haaland was there eventually towards the end of the season. They won the treble.
Yes.
How many Premier Leagues in a row?
4.
All right. Marshall Munetsi is at Wolves.
Oh.
Marshall Munetsi is at Wolves.
Okay.
Yes, Kuna, incredible. All right. But I feel like he's been a real difference maker. We saw him in that game against Liverpool.
Yes.
Totally fearless. He had Van Dijk shook for half a second. You can never get a full second of Van Dijk shook. Half a second for a little bit. We also that player. That was a tough one.
Nah, that kid has.
He's got it, and for me, that's where he is now. And he's now the captain, if I'm not mistaken, of the Zim football. He's not going to be a Kosafa, but I believe he's been given the armband. And I just feel like Marshall Munetsi right now is holding some serious hope.
Yes.
Why? Because if you're going to AFCON as Zimbabwe, the one thing you at least need is the team to have someone to worry about.
Yes.
That means they're going to, sometimes commit 2 players. That's going to open some space for you.
For other guys,
or at least just someone that they have to subconsciously watch, as opposed to just seeing you as a collective of guys that they don't know. And so Marshall Munetsi, his work at Wolves, scoring the last goal for Wolves, which was incredible.
Comfortable.
My goodness.
No, Zim players haven't scored in a very long time in the PL.
No,
but
it's been a long time.
SADC, shout out to Zim, bro.
Getting it done. Getting it done. So that's my pick, Marshall Munetsi.
Okay.
And kudos to him for finishing strong with the Wolves. But now let's talk about what's happening. What's really happening. A tournament that I wish
your team could play in the final
was still going to be in. But alas, that shall not be the case. PSG.
I had this chat with Jevon just now.
Yeah.
You guys, I think you guys know where my head is, and I think everyone knows where Jevon's head is. Jevon's head has been with Inter Milan from the beginning of this whole thing. He's been believing that they are the dark horses of the tournament. But I just feel like this is the season of mischief, man. I just feel like this is the season where the unnormal happens.
But when you're saying that, you're acting as
you know
if...
what I'm going.
No, but
you know where I'm going.
I know where you're going, but you're talking as if they were the underdog.
Who's this now?
PSG are not the underdog.
In this game?
How are they the underdog? It's not possible for them to be the underdog.
Okay, listen, hear me out.
Yeah.
Hear me out. I feel like PSG are the underdogs because they have never in their lives, or in my lives, or in your lives, ever won the Champions League.
Well, I mean, that's generational.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's different teams. I'm saying the team as presently constructed. Yes, the legacy plays a role. It does.
Okay.
You think about it. But let's talk about, if you're talking about surprises, let's talk about the Madrid legacy. Arsenal went straight into Bernabeu.
Yeah.
Into that legacy. Dismantled, all right?
Okay.
So, but the legacy matters because, it motivates people. It motivates the fans who always motivate the players. That's fair and fine. But the teams as presently constructed right now with the coach, Inter Milan are the underdogs. However, given their performances, their defensive prowess, I'm going with Inter Milan.
Look, it's a tough one. I think I'm going to go PSG because I think this season has just been... This season had this feeling where teams that haven't won something in a long time are winning it. Because, look, United...
If that were true, Arsenal would have won the Premier League. You need to stop with this narrative. It's like, this was the season where people...
Look, cool. Hear me out.
Talk.
Bologna won a trophy. They beat AC Milan in the
100%.
final. And they won the trophy. And they won in the first time in 72, 75 years.
Newcastle. 70 years.
70 years.
Yes.
Spurs. The last won the trophy in 1984.
Crystal Palace.
The first ever major trophy.
This year.
PSG. the first ever major trophy.
No, there's a difference between the English and the French. Now, I would certainly know that, and the English would emphasize that. And I would just like to say that when it comes to Inter Milan, the Italians, you know, the one thing you don't want in the final is the Italians.
I know.
In the final, if I tell you right now, picture an Italian in the final, you immediately you're getting flashbacks of Gennaro Gattuso. You are seeing.
No, not
you see, you're too strong with the French. Strong with the French. So your prediction is PSG. Let's and what was the scoreline that you decided on?
2-1. Kvaratskhelia scores. Dembele scores. I'm gonna give you guys one for what's this? Lautaro Martinez, who Jevon feels like is gonna win Player of the Season, Ballon d'Or. But I'm saying, give it to Dembele, James.
Dembele gets 1 goal. I can budget for that. Martinez scores 2. I can budget for that too. Because I can't budget for 2 PSG goals into an Inter Milan defense. But I can budget for 2 Inter Milan goals into a PSG defense. Okay. That's just my debate.
Okay, so
and you can't. What are you going to do with Dembele? What's the real plan over there? He's had an incredible season.
And it's his first time having a season where he plays so many games without injuries.
Yes. Consistency. Anyway, we've been happy to bring you consistency because whether we're in Namibia, Zimbabwe, Zambia, or Slanghoek, Cape Town, in the mix, Africa is always here to make sure you're informed of what's happening in the world of African football. As you can hear, it is buzzing behind us. It's about to start becoming a bit of a more lively day, and we wish you a fantastic time. Until next time, In the Mix Africa is here for you.